this is Mary. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about the recent reads I accomplished. In the month of February and March, I was able to finish 6 books, and 2 of those books were 600 pages plus books, which probably has an impact on how many books I was able to read. There's also 3 books that I wasn't able to finish or kind of put down for now that I want to talk about. So grab a snack and let's jump right in. So the first book I finished was an audiobook, and it is Artificial Condition by Martha Wells, which is the second installment in the Murderbot series. And the Murderbot series is basically a sci-fi collection of short stories that are following a main character that's a murderbot. So basically a robot that's created to and designed to kill other humans and protect others, and we're following him or it as it goes through a journey. And since both installments are so short, I don't want to give much more away. I just know that it's packed of humor. It's full of it. Murderbot is very funny because he's very cynical. He doesn't like human beings, and he's kind of relatable because he's addicted to TV shows. That's how he get to understand human beings and relate to them. And what is more relatable than following something or someone that's just not wanting to do their job and binge watch TV? I mean, so I think that what could make you like this series is if you like the kind of humor. If you don't like that kind of humor, maybe it won't be for you. And the other thing I know that some people may don't like is that it's very short. I personally don't care about that because I find it very episodic and I like to follow it. And yeah, I gave that one 4 stars. Really enjoyed it, enjoyed the humor, enjoyed the new characters, and I can see where volume 3 will take us. The next book I finished was Aurora Burning by Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. We're following that space crew composed by a bunch of people that has like kind of different jobs, and we're following them as they are trying to uncover all the mystery surrounding Aurora, which is one of their space members that was previously frozen for hundreds of years and just woke up, and now everybody's trying to get her because she has some special powers, and we're following kind of the crew as they're trying to uncover what are those mystery, and at the same time they're kind of followed for some reason. At some point they are wanted, so they're kind of in escape. So I don't want to give too much away because I didn't know much going in, and I think that's what make it fun. As the first novel was, this was kind of funny. It was fast-paced. I like the kind of humor they use. Sometimes it does feel a bit cartoonish and childish. I don't have the exact examples right now, but yeah, if you go into it, don't expect to have like an adult sci-fi story. Expect to have like a cartoonish CW fun story, and you'll be satisfied. So this one was ending on quite a cliffhanger, and the third one does not have a release date announced yet, so that's a bummer. But yeah, for what it is, I mean, I'm enjoying it. That's the main point. I don't care if you write something for children, for teenager, young adult, and new adults, as long as it's fun, I'm ready to get behind it. So I'm sure it has a lot of flaws for other people, but for me it was super enjoyable. I liked it a lot, and I gave it 4 stars as well. The next book I completed in, I think it was February, was My Sister the Serial Killer by Oyankan Braithwaite. And this is a very short audiobook. It's less than 4 hours long. So we're following 2 sisters. One of them is kind of always killing her partners, and the other sister is kind of always stuck with helping her fix her mess. And I'd say it's more of a character story than a thriller per se. It does have some spooky elements with people killing each other, but other than that, it's more of a character essay. I feel like it's it's so hard to describe. I feel like everybody's going to get something different from that book. It's just hard to describe. It's hard to give a rating on, and usually I'm not struggling with giving rating. I think maybe I would need to read it again to really know where I stand with it. But for now, I'm not giving it any rating. It's very short, so if you're interested in picking it up, I think you should definitely do so and decide for yourself what you think about it. Okay, after that, I read A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. I have a whole video talking about my thoughts on that book. But basically, to summarize, this is the fourth book in the A Court of Something and Something by Sarah J. Maas. There's 4 books and 1 novella. So this is the last installment. And we were following 2 different characters. Then we were in the 3 other ones. So we were focusing on 2 characters that were more side characters in the other novels. I thought that it was okay. I personally was very interested in the characters that we were going to follow in their dynamics. That book isn't like complete trash though. Like it has some good moments. I particularly enjoyed the friendship that the main character was building with 2 other women, and I also like how she was trying to repair her relationship with her sisters. Those were the aspects that were good to me. I was a bit let down by the romance, but I got a bunch of scenes, so that really helped me push through that like 700+ pages book. So will I read the next one? Probably. Yeah, because the thing is that when those books are coming out, there's so much hype surrounding them and everybody's loving them, reading them. You kind of just feel like you want to be part of that. And then you read it and you're like, oh, okay, it was fine, but it was way too long and I could have read 2 good books instead. I'd say that overall the length is what would potentially keep me from reading the next one. But I know that when everybody is going to get excited, I'll probably just pick it up to see what it's about. So yeah, I gave that one 3 stars. It's okay. I can see why other people like it. After that, because I didn't have enough of Sarah J. Maas' book, I decided to complete From Blonde and Ash from Jennifer L. Armentrout. I have it here. So I finished that break. And this is a story following a chosen one that is always wearing a veil. She's named Poppy, and we're following her as in the beginning of the story, one of her guards is killed. So they're kind of scared for security, and they hire a new guard, and he's awesome. I'm sorry. So yeah, they hire a new guard, and he's quite up to her taste. He looks young, he's fit. They like to banter with each other, and yeah, so we're basically following them as they're not supposed to fall in love, and there's a whole kind of vampire subplot going on. They don't. Here's the thing: they don't say it's vampires. They give it other names, but it's basically like a fantasy setting with vampires and werewolves. I can see why people enjoy it. It has some fun moments. It has some interesting twists here and there. Some are I saw them coming, so it was fine. Once again, my main complaint about this book is that it's way too long for what it's accomplishing, and in the middle, it's dragging a lot. I thought that a lot of the more fantasy plot could have been shortened, and some of the interesting stuff that happens at the end should have been brought sooner. And I don't know. I find the pacing of that one a bit off, to be honest, because I was bored until like the last 100 pages where everything started going on. I mean, if you really enjoy romance and having a fantasy subplot, you are craving for something. You're craving the 2000 vampire vibes when Twilight and Vampire Diaries were there to feed our souls, then maybe you would like that one. But I think that if you're thinking that you're getting in a super epic fantasy story, you're going to be a bit let down. It was fine. It was fine. A 3 star for me. So a completely fine book. I would see why other people would really like it, but for me, I think what makes it not a 4 star per se, is that I'm not into that type of relationship that they have. Just not my jam. I'm not attracted to the main guy character, and I don't care for the female character. So when you don't care for the two protagonists when you're reading a romance, I feel like it's kind of harder to get into it. And that's why it's not to my taste, but it could definitely be to yours. If you're more into enemies to allies, a lot of angst and all that stuff, maybe your cup of tea. After that, I finished Conventionally Yours, which is a romance story where we're following those two main characters that are both playing a alternate version of Magic the Gathering, and they call it, I think, Odyssey. So they're playing that game, and they're kind of not really fitting with each other. They don't get along, and they're part of a group of people that are playing cards and making YouTube videos, and they're being offered to go to that convention, which will bring the two characters to go on a road trip to get to that convention, and they both want to get into the contest to play the Magic Gathering contest, because the winner is getting, I think, the opportunity to go and play on a pro tour or something like that, and they both want it, so it's fueling their not getting along plot line. I gave it 3 stars. It was fine, but the writing style was not my cup of tea. It was a bit too on the nose and angsty, which, if you've heard me talking about any of the other books, you know that's not necessarily the type of writing I enjoy. What was fun about that one was the old geeky Odyssey um, aspect of it. What was not as good was I didn't enjoy the characters that much, and I was kind of not into the writing style. And for the other books I read, I was listening to the audiobook for The Invisible Life of Adira Rue. I was 65% into it when it got returned to the library. So far, not a fan. I know, I'm sorry. Everybody loves this book, and I can already tell you that I kind of spoiled myself, because I wasn't sure I wanted to continue because I thought that the story was dragging. I didn't see the point where it was going. And then I went onto the internet to know what was going to happen, to know if I wanted to push through. And I have to say that from what I've read, what's going to happen in the last portion of the book is going to be very interesting. In this one, we're following Adi as she's making a pact with the devil to live forever. The only thing is, nobody will ever remember her. So the story kind of kicks off when she's, I think, 200 or 300 years later, when she's in a cafe in New York and a guy recognizes her. And the whole story starts from there. And from what I've read, from the first 65% of the book, it was very dragging. You don't know why you're following what you're following. I wasn't caring or interested in what was going on. I had to push myself to listen to the audiobook, which sucks because now that I know how it's going to unfold, I find it very interesting and I see why people give it 5 stars. But for me, the fact that I was bored for all of the first part of the novel the most I could give it is a 3.4, 3.5, or a 4 star, but not more than that, because man, I was too bored at the beginning to give it a 5 star. After that, I started listening to Know My Name by Channel Miller. The reason why I have not finished that is I'm getting a bit depressed right now, and so far it's been great. It's been very good, very touching, but it's very hard to listen to because it's basically the story of a woman that's telling how she was a victim of abuse and how it went going through the court system to get justice for what happened. So yeah, it's not that it's not excellent, it's just that I'm not in the right headspace right now to finish it, so I put that on pause. After that, I tried to pick up Shadow and Bones because I wanted to finish it before the TV show comes out, and man, I read like 10 pages and I was like, nah, I'm bored, I'm not feeling it, put it down. Maybe I'll be in a better mood sometimes to read it, but for now I'm not in the mood, and I know that if I push myself to read it, I'll just give it 2 stars because I'm not in the mood for it. Doesn't seem bad by any means, was just not in the mood, so decided to put it up. So that's it, guys. Those were all my recent reads. Comment down below if you've read any of these, and I'll see you in my next one next week. Bye.